June 19, 1944. A Japanese pilot watches in horror as dark blue Hellcats tear through his formation. In 8 minutes, one American pilot shoots down 6 enemy aircraft using just 360 rounds. Another bags 7 kills in a single day. This isn't combat, it's an execution. And by sunset, 480 Japanese aircraft will be destroyed, while America loses just 33 planes. This is the story of the Great Marianas Turkey Shoot and the fighter that changed everything, the F-6F Hellcat. The F-6F Hellcat wasn't just another fighter. It was specifically engineered to hunt and kill the legendary Zero. The numbers tell the story. While the Zero weighed 5,313 pounds and relied on agility, the Hellcat was a 12,598-pound armored beast. That extra weight, all combat advantages, 650 caliber Browning machine guns converging at 300 yards, creating a 6-foot kill zone where 200 rounds could arrive in 2 seconds. Armor plating protecting the pilot, oil cooler, and fuel tanks. Self-sealing fuel tanks that the Zero fatally lacked 2,000 horsepower Pratt & Whitney engine, 2,200 with water injection, versus the Zero's pathetic 1,130 horsepower. At 20,000 feet, the Hellcat climbed at 2,000 feet per minute. The Zero, maybe 1,500, and dropping fast. But the real genius was American industrial warfare. Grumman built 12,275 Hellcats with perfect standardization, every part interchangeable. Engines could be swapped in hours. Compare that to Japan's hand-built Zeros, each one slightly different, quality declining as materials ran out. June 6, 1944, Majuro Harbor, Marshall Islands. It takes 5 hours for Task Force 58 to clear the harbor. Admiral Mark Mitcher commands the largest carrier force ever assembled. 15 fast carriers, 956 aircraft, 475 of them Hellcats, 7 battleships, 21 cruisers, 69 destroyers. Against this armada, Admiral Ozawa musters 9 carriers with 430 aircraft. But here's the critical difference most people miss. American pilots, 300 to 400 hours training, extensive gunnery practice, carrier-qualified Japanese pilots, 50 to 100 hours total flight time. Many had never fired their guns due to ammunition shortages. The outcome was already decided before the first shot. The secret weapons Americans had: radar-detecting aircraft at 150 miles, giving 30 to 40 minutes, warning fighter directors, vectoring Hellcats to perfect intercept positions, proximity-fused anti-aircraft shells, still top secret, VHF radios with standardized communication, 100-octane aviation fuel versus Japan's degraded 87-octane. The Japanese had visual detection only. They'd spot American fighters when already in firing position. 8:30 a.m., June 19th. The first wave radar screens light up across Task Force 58. Vector 250, Angels 25, bogies approaching. Commander Charles Brewer spots them first. Tally-ho, bandits bearing 265, distance 40 miles, Angels 18. The Japanese maintain perfect formation, flying straight and level, their first and fatal mistake. Lieutenant Commander Paul Buey later described it. They came in perfect formation, like they were on parade. Our guys couldn't believe it. They just held formation while we shot them to pieces. Commander David McCampbell's Hunt, leading V F-15 from 25,000 feet, McCampbell spots a Judy dive bomber below. His starboard guns jam, throwing him into a violent skid, but he corrects and closes. The Judy tries to dive away. Bad idea against a Hellcat. McCampbell's 6 guns converge. The Judy explodes. By day's end, McCampbell bags 7 kills. His wingman, Roy Rushing, adds more. McCampbell will finish the war with 34 victories, all in Hellcats, becoming the Navy's all-time leading ace. Alexander Vrasiu's 8 Minutes of Legend, Lieutenant Junior grade. Vrasiu has a problem. His supercharger malfunctioned, limiting altitude and speed. Unable to keep up with his squadron, he's heading back when he spots a massive formation of Judy dive bombers heading for American ships. They were so thick against the water below, Vrasiu recalled. I felt like a kid with a plate of cookies, afraid someone else was going to take some. In just 8 minutes, using only 360 rounds, about 10 rounds per gun per kill, Vrasiu shoots down 6 dive bombers. His marksmanship is nearly perfect. After landing, still in flight gear, he holds up 6 fingers for photographers. The image becomes iconic. Later, he discovers his wing-fold pins were protruding. He'd flown his greatest mission with wings only partially secured. First wave results: 69 Japanese aircraft launched, 42 shot down. The survivors return with tales of horror, Hellcats everywhere, impossible speed, overwhelming firepower. Second wave: 9 a.m., 128 aircraft fly into a wall of Hellcats at perfect intercept altitudes. Fighting Squadron 1 from Yorktown claims 37 Japanese aircraft. Lieutenant George Carr shoots down 5 planes, becoming an ace in a single day. The technical domination. The Zero's pilot sits behind thin aluminum. A single .50 caliber round can penetrate and kill him. The Hellcat pilot has armor plate behind, below, bulletproof glass in front. The Zero's fuel tanks explode from one incendiary round. The Hellcat's tanks have rubber layers that swell when punctured, sealing the leak. Zero pilots must conserve their 20mm cannon ammo, only 60 rounds per gun. Hellcat pilots can fire long burst, 2,400 rounds total, across 6 guns. Third wave, 10 a.m., 47 aircraft from Carrier Division 2. They get lost, fail to track American movements. Only 7 return. Lieutenant Zenji Abe, a Pearl Harbor veteran, crash lands on Rota Island. Examining his bullet-riddled aircraft, he exclaims, "I never saw so many Grummons." Fourth wave, 11 a.m., 82 aircraft meet the same fate. Ensign William Spider Webb later recalled, "They were so green." They held formation while being shot at. They didn't even try evasive maneuvers. It was both impressive and heartbreaking to watch such brave men fly to certain death. While Hellcats dominate the sky, American submarines are hunting below. 7:45 a.m. USS Albacore fires 6 torpedoes at Admiral Ozawa's flagship Taiho. Japanese warrant officer Sakio Komatsu, flying overhead, sees the torpedo wakes. In an act of ultimate sacrifice, he deliberately crashes his aircraft into one torpedo, saving his ship, temporarily. Another torpedo strikes Taiho's forward elevator. The damage seems minor, but ruptured fuel lines release deadly vapors. An inexperienced damage control officer makes a fatal error, opening ventilation to clear fumes. Instead, it spreads them throughout the ship. 3:32 p.m. Taiho explodes and sinks. 1,650 men die. 11:18 a.m. USS Kavala fires at the carrier Shokaku. Pearl Harbor veteran, 32,100 tons. 3 torpedoes strike home. She goes down with heavy loss of life. 2 of Japan's newest, largest carriers, gone. June 20th, 3:40 p.m. After searching all day, Lieutenant Robert Nelson from Enterprise finally spots the Japanese fleet 275 miles away. Extreme range. Launching this late means returning after dark. Admiral Mitscher doesn't hesitate. Launch them. Task Force 58 launches 216 aircraft. Every pilot knows many won't have enough fuel to return, but the chance to finish the Japanese fleet is too good to miss. The attack is confused but effective. Carrier Hiyo sunk Suikaku heavily damaged carriers, Junyo and Chiyoda damaged battleship. Haruna hit 2 oilers, sunk the return. Drama in the dark. As darkness falls, American aircraft run out of fuel. Radio fills with desperate calls. This is Blue 7, engine quit. Going in. Red 3 ditching, send help. Pilots watch fuel gauges drop toward empty. Admiral Mitscher's decision. Despite submarine threat, he orders. Turn on the lights. Every ship in Task Force 58 illuminates. Searchlights skyward. Flight deck lights blazing. Star shells fired into the air like Times Square in the middle of the Pacific. Lieutenant Commander John Gray. I was down to fumes when I saw those lights. It was the most beautiful sight of my life. I didn't care which carrier, I just needed a deck. Recovery is chaotic. Planes land on any deck. Some crash, blocking flight decks. Others ditch alongside ships. Of 216 aircraft launched, 80 lost, but most pilots rescued. 49 aircrew killed or missing. Still less than Japan lost from one carrier. Commander Kane wrote, Mitscher took a hell of a risk lighting up the fleet, but he saved a lot of good men. That's the kind of leader men will follow anywhere. Final score, 2 days of combat. Japanese losses, 600 plus. Aircraft destroyed, 3 carriers sunk, Taiho, Shokaku, Hiyo. 2 oilers sunk. Nearly all remaining trained carrier pilots dead. American losses, 123 aircraft, most from fuel exhaustion, not combat. 109 aircrew. The kill ratio, 19. 1. Admiral Mitscher, watching from Lexington's bridge, turned to his staff. The Japanese carrier air force has been destroyed. They'll never recover from this. He was right. Why this mattered, Japan might repair or replace carriers, but trained aircrew? Impossible to regenerate in the time Japan had left. The psychological impact was devastating. Survivors spread word of the Hellcats' invincibility. Morale plummeted. Pilots began viewing missions as suicide runs even before formal kamikaze tactics. The Hellcat hadn't just defeated them physically, it broke their spirit. The dominance continued throughout the war. October 24, 1944. Battle of Leyte Gulf. Commander McCampbell shoots down 9 Japanese aircraft in a single mission, a U.S. record. His wingman, Roy Rushing, adds 6 more, 2 pilots, 15 kills in 1 mission. Final numbers, 5,223 enemy aircraft destroyed in air-to-air combat. Only 270 Hellcats lost to enemy aircraft. 19-1 kill ratio. Documented fact from both sides' records, 66,530 combat sorties, flown 6,503 tons of bombs, dropped. Admiral Ozawa survived the war and later reflected. The Battle of the Philippine Sea marked the end of Japanese carrier aviation. The American Hellcat, combined with superior pilot training and industrial capacity, proved decisive. Commander McCampbell put it simply, the Hellcat was an honest airplane. It did exactly what you asked it to do. It brought you home. In combat, that's all that matters. The real story. While Japan clung to concepts of warrior spirit and lightweight maneuverable aircraft, America embraced industrial warfare. The Hellcat was its perfect expression, tough enough to absorb punishment, powerful enough to dominate any opponent. Built in overwhelming numbers, 12,275 produced. Backed by superior training, logistics, and technology, June 19, 1944 wasn't just a battle. It was vindication of the American approach to war. The dark blue fighter with the white star had ended Japanese air superiority forever. In a single day, American industry, training, and technology triumphed over courage and spirit. The Great Marianas Turkey Shoot demonstrated total American air supremacy, delivered by the lethal superiority of the F-6F Hellcat. The Zero's age was over. The Hellcat's reign had begun.